Good Vibes Goddess Tarot. So, seeing that it's Taurus season, I decided to do the Hierophant. But Venus rules Taurus, so I also have to talk about Venus. And then I'm going to explain these cards over here, and then show you more about the Hierophant card, and then the message on what the Hierophant card is trying to tell you at this point in time. Right? But some fun facts about Taurus. So the zodiac sign Taurus is very said to be dependable, reliable. They crave security and comfort and enjoy material comfort of life. Right? Especially with Venus. Venus is the planet of like love and money and bounty, like being pretty and being beautiful and stuff like that. It's an earth element. It's fixed. And like I said before, it's ruled by Venus. And the tarot card is the Hierophant. And their colors is mostly green and or gold. And their motto is I have some characteristics of Taurus. Because like I said before, they're reliable, dependable, stable, driven. So they can sometimes be stubborn. That can be like a positive or a negative, depending on what the thing is. Okay. Slow, trustworthy, persistent, and patient, and some negative aspects that they might have. They can be materialistic, stubborn, and possessive. Right. Taurus, and is represented by the bull here, and it's the number 2 because it's a okay. The way that the months go is not the way the zodiac calendar go. So technically, Taurus is second, Aries is first. So it's represented by 2. So it's in your second house, or pretty much deals with the second house. And the second house is all about your possessions. And many astrologers believe that the second house demonstrates or describe your possession and the keys to understanding whether you will be wealthy or how many possessions you might have. But in reality, it's really just dictated to like your values and your self-esteem. If you do believe that it will show you how many like wealth that you have, it will be tied to your personal finances, your material possessions, your income, your tools and assets, money, security, your resources, and your beliefs. What you want and what would you do to get what you want and stuff like that. Like I said, Venus is the planet of money and beauty. And now, Venus. Venus is a planet that shows the way you express your love of your loving nature, and what aspects of in your life as good and beautiful. Like I said before, is more of a personal planet. It focuses on you, nobody else, and it's passive and is a feminine planet. As you see here on the card, is just a woman. So Venus rules Taurus and Libra, so it rules the second house and the 7th house, but it's also powerful in Pisces. It's harmful in Aries. It become more, and when it's in Aries, it becomes more, like Aries is kind of like impulsive from time to time and like warlike. Okay, you will do anything to get what you need to get, no problems. legally, illegally, ethically, unethically. So that's kind of harmful. Kind of harmful. And also harmful in Scorpio. I just um Scorpios tend to like dig deep or hold secrets and stuff like that, or can tend to be manipulative. That can tend to be a problem when you're money hungry. And it falls in Virgo, which we normally see or ties Venus to Virgo, which that's why. It's the goddess of love, so normally Venus is tied to Aphrodite, which, funny enough, Aphrodite is married to Mars, Aries, when you think about that. So, and then, and its motto is "I want, I beautify." Venus in the tarot card is represented by the Empress, and the key points or the characteristics of Venus is attraction, love, beauty, harmony, artistic, like ventures, money, grace, charms, affection, connection, passion, and fertility and growth. Fun fact about Venus, it was similar to Earth until it got hit by an asteroid, and it stopped spinning and then started spinning the other direction, so now it's uninhabitable. Venus. But its symbol over there, the circle with the cross at the bottom, the circle is supposed to represent spirit, and then the cross is supposed to represent matter, so it's like spirit over matter. Now we're going to talk about the Hierophant. So at this point, this is where the Fool meets the Hierophant, and he learns about like traditions, teaching, morals, and determination. It's also a practical card. So the Hierophant asks us to be entirely in the present, and to consider how growth, stagnation, and celebration occurs in moments of awareness. The ability to teach and advise and heal signifies a calling to help people and seek expert advice. The Hierophant is a card represented by spiritual guidance. Could be like a priest or a doctor, a spiritual teacher, or you could just see it as like the universe, God, source itself, right? However way you get your spiritual advice from. And there are ones who can guide you in the times of uncertainty. So the lessons behind the Hierophant card is to have faith and seek spiritual guidance and education. Study the knowledge that you desire and always act according to your belief. The practical lessons relate to the natural laws. Study and mastering is one choice of expertise. Okay. So, I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, on here it says marriage, government, or a public company, body. That makes no sense, so I'm not going to use that one. Official building or official situation. Right? But now we're going to talk about the symbolisms. So the bald head is to represent spiritual openness. The roses on the floor, on the carpet, is supposed to represent balance. The crown is to represent authority and power. His garments, the robe, right, is to represent meditations. The keys is to represent new doors being open. The lilies, okay, on their clothing. is to represent purity. His hand is to represent like as in heaven, as so be on earth. And then the pillars is to represent stability. The Hierophant card, when it's upright, this one now. When it's upright, it's supposed to represent like belief, conformity, education, ethics, knowledge, right? Like I said, spiritual teaching, go to somebody that you can trust and stuff like that. Oh, also like like if you know history, or was that science? Kind of a little bit of both. But Galileo, and he felt like us having a personal relationship with the Bible or whatever holy book that you read is very important, so we can have our own interpretation and stuff like that, rather than somebody telling us their own belief and their own interpretation of what the word is saying. And if it wasn't for that, we would have continued to believe that Earth is the center of the universe when it's not. It's important. It was important. But if there's a love reading and it comes up, like I said before on here, it's represent marriage. Right. Now, when it's reversed, it's saying that there's a challenge of authority in making your own decisions, finding your own path in a non-traditional way. Learning doesn't only come from textbooks, possibly a hasty decision making made for personal gain. And it's an unconventional lifestyle, free thinker, rebel, resilience, nonconformity, and rebellion. But would you want to take advice from that man? Look at him. No, you would not. Exactly. But then you also have to realize there's not everybody are spiritually led. They can talk about the Bible, just because they talk about it doesn't mean that they. How to put this? Everyone has intuition, okay? Everyone has intuition, but some people, everyone also have ego, okay? Not everybody can be in touch with their intuition and put their ego to the side. Okay, this person might be able to put their ego to the side and listen to their intuition and can tell the difference, where this person may not, right? Like we said, like I had before, do things for personal gain. That's your ego. Where your higher self is doing things for everybody. And anything else I want to say about the Hierophant card? No. So now we're going to talk about over here. It's pretty much a little bit of information before we get into the reading. So we have Alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone. Full Metal Alchemist. But underneath that it says Infinity, Destiny, and Magic. And then we have Nigus with Lovers, just very sexual, okay? Erotic, there we go. And sensually. And then we have Earth Element with, funny enough, Taurus is a fixed Earth sign. With survival, of adaptability, and reliability. And then we have Gray, Tall Ones with utilitarians, organization, and intimidating. And then we have Vegan with solitude, independent, and peace. And then we also have Celestial with Cosmos, Creations, and Spiral. And then we have Wedding with Marriage is a union of two souls joined in love, mutual respect, and commitment. It signifies a desire to deepen love over time. Your wedding day is a testament to your love, well found faith in love's power, continuously breathe love, life. Sorry, so that's continuously breathe life into the faith of love. There is one, and then we have a goddess card with Rahana with self trust. Okay. Oh, and then we have trying to do it all quickly so that I can go to the next part. So we have 26 that reduced to 8. We have 14 reduced to 5. Also, funny enough, I had that marked off to talk about. The Hierophant card is the 5th card, and 5s is all about conflict, change, transitions, and disruptions, instability, adversity, chaos, force to grow, competition. And another thing that I wanted to say about the Hierophant card, the Hierophant card with the Temperance card is the pursuit to balance and harmonize, even in like the midst of chaos, to share, to guide, and to teach other people. Alright. Boom. So now we have 28. 28 reduced to 10, and 10 is all about like completion. Things coming to an end, let it go. I didn't explain 8. 8 is about movements. Like I was saying before with your ego, yourself versus ego. It can also be karma with the loop. And then we also have 10 here, but the grays, so we have technically 2 10s. So it could be, if there's a 9, 2 things come to completion. But then we have 2 5s, so 2 things could be changing. Yeah, 2 things could be changing and coming to completion, or 2 things are moving or starting to gain momentum to change, so it can come to a completion and come to an end. And Rahana, a little information about her. She is a Welsh goddess, and she was just minding her business one day on her horse, and she met her husband. Well, at that time they weren't married, but then ended up getting married, and don't know how to say his name right, so we're just gonna call him her husband. And they got married. They had a kid. The the mother-in-law got jealous because now her son is paying attention to somebody else, and she couldn't stand that for some reason. So she kidnapped her kid, okay? She kidnapped the grandchild in the middle of the night, like fake painted Rohanna's hand to make it seem like she the one that hurt the child, even though she was asleep, and woke up like the guards and everything. And because, they saw the like fake blood on her hands, they automatically assumed that she, of course, did something to the child. And her husband, he was a king, and so she was a queen. So her husband loved her so much that he didn't want to like kill her. So her punishment was to carry people on her back to the castle as a horse would do. And you're probably thinking, well, wouldn't she have known she didn't hurt her child? The mother gaslit her, okay? She gaslit her. She made it seem like she did it, okay? And then everybody else believed her. So just like, plus she was asleep. She don't know, okay? She was like, maybe I could have. I don't think I did. I'm not really completely sure. I'm positive, like 50% chance I didn't do it. Like, and then after like a year, I think, of like carrying people on her back to and from the castle she built up the strength and like the self-trust and the self-confidence to look into what really happened when her son went missing, and then she found the son with the grandmother, and then the grandmother was banished because that's crazy. And we had here with the Greys with the intimidation. The mother-in-law was intimidated by her, and the fact that her husband was no longer, well, his attention wasn't fully focused on the mother anymore. Now he have to divide it up and like share, like focus on his wife and make sure his wife is okay, focus on his kid, make sure his kid's okay, and then also like check on his mom if, you know, when he's done running the whole damn kingdom. But the mother couldn't handle that or deal with that. So with the wedding and the lovers being here, oh, but also now I gotta hide this because she got her nipples out. But if you look at this card, like you see, like it's snake-like. You know, it's not actually like the actual lovers card. It's more just like it says here, like erotica. Like it's more just based on like attraction and looks. And if you fully look at it, you can see like it's supposed to be like the colors of the like the chakras, but it's not the actual colors, right? Because it's purple, and then there's like another little purple, and then it's green, and then it's yellow, and then it's orange. It's not the way they're supposed to be. And it just would be based on attraction, so like the stability would be off and the person won't be reliable. And if you look here, right, where to start? Because with this organized, like they're trying to, won't say they're trying to, but also this creation make you be to what they want you to be, which will be codependent, right? If you look at the way that it is, we have here with the vegans, we have two people, and they even looking at each other here, like they looked here, and then we have this child like off wandering by itself, right? Where one side might be okay, being by themselves and stable by themselves and taking care of themselves, right? The other side isn't. So where, like in her side of the story, where this, like her husband was okay to make his own decisions. He clearly was okay to run a whole kingdom by himself, pick his wife by himself and stuff like that, and be fine. But the mother had a codependent relationship with her son where she just wanted to be the only woman in his life and have all his attention, right? And then organize a lot of people to go against Rihanna and pretty much brainwash him into thinking that she did something to this child when she actually didn't. The child was alive the whole time, somewhere with the grandmother. Like, you know? And with peace being here, that pretty, like, you know, like love make you do like crazy things. Yeah, but sometimes love can be like I said, it's the mother's love is pretty much like decrement, like I said, it's codependent and like destructive and damaging. For one, on her back, because she got to carry people on her back, and she was a horse, which is one of her symbols, the horse and the moon, and I forgot what else. Oh, like I said with the eighth, and it said infinity, the loop. Yeah, it could. And then spiral. Keep going round and round and not realizing it. And Oh, you know what video I saw recently? And she was it was like it took her like a lot of years to realize that if some if somebody is intimidated by you, then you already won, right? If they trying to bring you down and take you down and stuff like that, like it's because they're intimidated by you. You already won. You didn't do anything for them to be intimidated by you. You just literally just gotta exist. She literally just had to exist, and the mother was just like, I can't deal with this. Okay, and as long as she existed and was alive, she was well carry people back and forth. But then she was able to find her son, and then the mother is banished. So now she not only lost her actual son, she lost her grandson. She lost her daughter-in-law because she wanted to be jealous and envious, and because of her intimidation. And then Rihanna also want to say, like, with the self-trust being here, like, you also like I said, after a year she realized, I know I didn't hurt my child, and I know I was asleep and I was in a deep sleep, but I'm pretty sure I didn't hurt him. So then she gathered the strength and the confidence to look into it and trust that despite what everybody else is saying, like, I know who I am, and I know what I am capable, what I'm not capable of doing, and I know I'm not capable of hurting my own child in my sleep, for one. And then why would be blood is just on one hand? Like, it's just, the more you look into it, you can find like little holes, right? The story that they're creating doesn't make sense. It's not reliable. And like I said, here with certain teachers, they're not reliable. They just they say what you want to hear, but not what you need to hear. And or they pick what they want you to follow with, like I said before, with the Galileo aspect, with their, at that point in time, they believed that the earth was the center of the solar system, and Galileo was like, but it's not. The earth circles around the sun, not the sun circle around the earth. And then it was like, well, can't be, because it's in the, but then it's just like, okay, then let me read the Bible for me to like figure that out. And it was like, no, because you don't have the knowledge that I have to interpret the Bible. And then Galileo proved him wrong, and now he was banned from the church. So it's just like, they weren't open to receiving knowledge from other people, people that they deem less than, right? And then it's like, how can you, like, that's not a spiritual teacher that you probably should be listening to, okay? Because you don't know everything. Like I said before, when it was reversed, like, you will learn things that's not in the textbook, and sometimes the information that you get from, or like the knowledge that you get from people, it might come like from people that you least expect. It could come from big kids. Sometimes kids be knowing things that just like, wow, like, where do you learn that from? Or it could just be from like your elders and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it that I got for this part. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into the actual Hierophant spread. So question 1 is about message. What divine message are emerging? What are you being called to do? And then question 2 is about what's your current state, and what way is the divine message being communicated to you through, and how is it molded or shaped? And question 3 is earthly actions. What practical action can you do to take this message and apply it into your daily life? And 4 is all about belonging. Like, where can you find the people that support you? Where can you find your foundation? Who give you that sense of belonging? And question 5 is all about like guidance, and where can you find advice and further guidance, like a mentor and or education. So let's see. gonna get 10 cards. Okay, this is my zodiac deck. The signs that come out does not mean that that's the sign of your person. Or that has to be your sign. It's just... Could be how... You know, like you have the sun, moon, and rising? So, even if, like, let's say somebody is a Cancer, their rising could be something completely different. So, they might not really act as a Cancer all the time. Or give off Cancer energy all the time. Or vibes all the time. Sometimes it could just be their rising, which could be... I don't know, Leo popped in my head, so they could just be like very energetic and very like leader-like and stuff like that. Where, you know, normally Cancers are more like reserved, want peace and quiet, just listen to the music and they be fine. And Leos is more like action-oriented, like being up in the crowd and everybody see them and stuff like that. All right. So we have Gemini. Let me get 10 cards, but I'm going to pull out the top. No, I'm going to get 11 cards. So I'm going to pull out these first and then do the crossing. Right? So we have in the 5th house. Funny enough, I was just talking about Leos. Because that's Leo. So we have Gemini. We have in the 5th house the power of love. And investments, gambling, and other games, your creations. We also have creations over here. Then we also have Scorpio. We have in the 4th house. Now we're just talking about Cancers. Look at that! Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it's scary. But we have in the 4th house. What makes you feel secure? Support your home, base, or family. And then we have Mercury, which Mercury is in retrograde. Also have that for a little zodiac forecast. Not zodiac, astrology. There we go. Forecast. So Jupiter is in Aries until May. And also in the 12th house, and it's all about, while it's there, it's focused on like healing. If you have anything that you need closure on, it's trying to heal that, okay, and help you release it. And Jupiter is a planet about like expansion and growing. So if you don't heal that wound, the wound is just gonna grow. So you might want to just like heal it, get some closure, and release it and let it go so it don't grow and hurt you even more. The pain will stop. Okay? And then Uranus is in Taurus, and Uranus is the planet of like transformation. You gotta keep an eye on it. It's always doing something. It's innovative, right? And think outside of the box, but it's always like changing. And while it's in Taurus, it helps you become more independent. And the North Node is pushing you to go towards your purpose or to find your purpose and release and make peace with the things that no longer serves you. Mercury being here, that's why I was like, oh, some little forecast. Mercury is in retrograde, okay? And it is in retrograde in Taurus, funny enough. And so while it's in Taurus, like upright, it's all about determination, like being realistic and calm. But with it being in like a Mercury retrograde, communication might be down. So some people might get snippy with you, okay, from time to time. But it's just like, if you ain't do nothing to that person, why you need to get snippy back? You just breathe, laugh it off, and go about your business. And also, because with that intimidation, if they're trying to get snippy but you didn't do anything to them, you could just, be like, okay, you intimidate them in some way, shape, or form. Your happiness could intimidate them in some way, shape, or form. Like you being okay with yourself, loving yourself, just having a good day somehow could intimidate some people. Just continue having that good day. Okay? And Venus is in Gemini, which makes which is pushing for like a more playful, social, and optimistic like energy, but also gotta be careful because you gotta read between the lines still with this being here. Um, so people might be immature and dishonest, like this mother-in-law was, you know. And Saturn is in Pisces, which is creating. Saturn is the planet of lessons, like teaching you those karmic lessons and making sure like you learn the lessons that you need to learn in order like to have that spiritual growth and continue moving on and stuff like that. So with that being in Pisces, which is the plan, what was the sign of like dreams and innovation and stuff like that, and like fantasies, Saturn in Pisces is pretty much trying to say, can you figure out like reality from fantasy? Can you decipher that? Like I said here with the Hierophant, can you tell like a good spiritual teacher from, or a good spiritual advisor from like a false spiritual advisor? I don't want to say a false prophet. That seems mean, but it's just that popped in my head. If you're Christian, you know that like they're like a true prophet from false prophet, but it's just odd. That seems mean, okay? But there are some false prophets out here, okay? Some wolves in sheep clothing. And Neptune is also in Pisces, and Neptune rules Pisces, so they're having a good time in there. So your dreams could be very active and heightened because Neptune is in its like its sign. It's good. It's cool in there. Pluto is in Aquarius, Pluto is the planet of like underworld, okay, and obsession, also change and reform, but you're also like a little bit of rebellion. And Aquarius is like they're humanitarians, but also like a little bit rebellious. So there's like the black sheep in a way. So they go off on their own little thing, but it's like it's beneficial because it open out new roads. Like I said here with the keys, right? But with Pluto in Aquarius, it's humanitarian change towards like the environment, and it could be rapid, or it might be slow. Cause Pluto is a slow moving planet, but you never know. Okay, you never know. And then Mars is in Cancer, and that's all about. Mars is like your actions, your passions, your charisma, and stuff like that. And like I said before, like Cancers is more like closed back, reserved, family oriented, self oriented, and caring for like their security, what we have here with their support and stuff, making sure they're like good. You know, everybody is okay. That they care for, they're okay and they're good. And Mars in Cancer pretty much expressed all that as well. But the downside about it could be some fearfulness and being impulsive. Like I said, there's also Mercury retrograde. So somebody might get a little bit snippy with you because they in their feelings. And it's not your fault. You somehow intimidate them. Sometimes you will know how you intimidate them. Sometimes you will never know. You just simply exist. And somehow that bothers them. Like the stepmother. I kept saying stepmother. Like the mother-in-law. Like it is what it is. Right? But this being here first, and then I'm going to go to the crossing cards, which I'm going to take from the bottom. Geminis. With that impulsive, you might have to watch out with also with the Scorpio being here. People being like flip-floppy. Switching. Miss me with that bullshit. You're a tourist. Yeah, you might have to watch out with people switching, flip-flopping. You know, like, Gemini is supposed to be like the twins. And then on here, right, there's fire and then there's water. And then we also have Leo and then we have, Cancer, which is fire and water, but we also have Scorpio. And Scorpio gets, like I said earlier, Scorpios tend to like get to the nitty gritty. Like if something is being hidden, they'll try to find out what it is. Um, won't mind lying or manipulating to find out the information that they need to find out. But with love being here, right, with the power of love and lovers over here, if you gotta do all that, then that person is not for you. Okay? Especially if you can't communicate with them. Or like they say one thing but then do like something completely different. It's confusing. It's like, which one is it? Right? Because oh, funny enough, Mercury rules Jupiter. Not Jupiter, Gemini. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And Mercury is the planet of like communication and stuff like that. And I already said, like, if you can't really communicate with that person, or when they communicate, they say one thing but then do something completely different, it affects your connection for one, and it makes it hard to rely on this person or even to feel comfortable in the environment that you're in. And then, where Scorpio being here, like you can be like very passionate about this, like I said before, and feel very like you could feel like something is being hidden or see like something is going wrong and trying to get to the bottom of it and stuff like that to get other people to believe you, to to I want to say like gather people and stuff like that to be on your side. If they're not on your side, they're not on your side. Like it is what it is. With Rihanna, she didn't really argue with anybody. She just, when it came to her, she defended herself, was like, I don't think I did it. And but the mother already had everyone convinced that it was her. And she didn't like argue or fight or anything like that. She did her year, and then once the year, no, she's supposed to do it for like forever, but like once the year was up, well, a year came up and she was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. Okay, like I know I didn't kill my son, I know I didn't hurt my son, don't remember that night vividly, but I'm pretty sure I was asleep. Okay, and she investigated. You know, she was determined to investigate and find out the truth. Like, some people are not going to support you. You can't force them to support you. Okay, you can force yourself to support you, because that's the only person that you really is going to support you and always be there for you is you. Okay, so let's see what's crossing it. So what's crossing it is water. Then we have Sagittarius. See, and I said Jupiter earlier. And then we have Pluto. Crossing by Scorpio, and Pluto rules Scorpio. And then we have Cancer on Cancer. Look at that. And then we have in the 6th house. Okay. And then at the bottom of the deck, wow, we have Taurus, your beliefs. Your belief and what it's costing you. And it is costing you, seem to be costing you emotionally, like I said before. And It could be your emotions and or your intuition, because your intuition, like I said before, everyone has intuition, but everyone also has ego, and not everyone can decipher and realize the difference between your ego and your higher self. Your ego will tell you to, like, your higher self wouldn't tell you to seek revenge in any way, shape, or form. There's no need to. There's literally no need to. And, like, if you believe in the universe, then you know there's karma. And even if you try to seek revenge and take, like, things into your own hands, you welcome yourself up to karma that was unnecessary, right? If you spiritual or religious, depending on which book that you read, okay, I know in the Bible it says, "Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord." We are not the Lord, okay? So just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let him do what he gotta do, okay? And I don't know what it is in the Muslim culture or even the Indian culture. I think it still would be karma, but not in the Muslim. I don't know. But yeah, just don't try to. Especially with this intimidation here, if someone is intimidated by you, they're trying to bring you down to their level, right? Because they feel like you're above them. Even if you're not above them, and you don't see that or you don't think that, they do. Because they feel like you have something that they lacked, and no matter what they do, they can't get that from you, right? No matter what the mother-in-law did, she wasn't going to take the love that her son felt away from her. He didn't kill her because he loved her so much. No matter what, she was still going to always be in the picture. Even if she was dead, he just would never trust anybody else again. And then he would have been heartbroken because not only did he lose his wife, he lost his kid. And then it's like, how was you going to explain to your son, like, oh no, like, you still have a son. I kidnapped the son to get her out the picture. That makes no sense. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So your intuition could be blocked, not thinking rationally. Listening to your ego, trying to seek revenge and hurt other people, and one-up people or intimidate people. And that's why I was like, you have to watch out for, like, some people might say one thing and then do another thing. They don't practice what they preach. There we go. And you gotta watch out for those people. It's just like those people that's like, oh, do what I say, not what I do, that kind of thing. And it's like, okay, if you tell me to do that so I don't repeat the mistakes that you made, then okay, fine. But if you just saying it just to say it, and then, like, some people, you know, some people want to, monkey see, monkey do kind of thing, right? And they have no problem with that. But then there's some people that is monkey see, and then monkey don't do, and then they get upset. And it's like, why would you get upset? Because they actually wanted you to do it so y'all be in the same boat. And that's them not practicing what they preaching. It was like, if you seen the heartache and the struggles and the problems that you have to went through, why would you want me to go through that same thing or a similar situation? And, you know, it's because their intuition and their emotions are all over the place and not one, pretty much, with the twins kind of situation. And separate. And then here with Sagittarius, we have insight to understand the wisdom of and the result from the understanding. And in the 5th house with the power of love. Like I said before, love make you do a lot of things, right? And not all love is good, right? There's toxic love, there's codependency, there's abusive, there's cheating, there's manipulation, there's secrecy. Um, and that's just, it just can't work. It just won't work. Okay, you gotta learn from the mistakes and process that and understand why certain things have to happen, why you have to let people go. Um, because if you don't, you will just be on this loop for forever, and it will just continue to create more problems and ongoing problems, and you just continue going down this spiral of feeling unstable, unheard, and can't communicate your feelings to your partner or your person. And then we have Pluto with the need to control, the need for control, the exception, the need for control, the obsession with, and the power struggle. Then, like I said before, Pluto rules Scorpio, and love is not supposed to be controlling. That's another form of the toxic love, codependent kind of, sort of. And being obsessed with the person is not healthy. And like, to be in love with each other, that's healthy, but like to be obsessed, that's not. Like, to be possessive and trying to control them and tell them how to be, like I said before, I told you that control, trying to gather people or like make you fit, like be something that you're not, like that is not gonna work for you, and it's not gonna mesh with you. Because at some point in time you're gonna resent that person, or you're gonna like want to become some, like, wake up and not know who you are anymore, and feel unfulfilled in some way, shape, or form, and then you might end up like I said, hating that person, or like regretting that person, or resenting that person, when in all reality you also played a part. You gave that person control over your life. You allowed them to do or make certain decisions for you because you didn't make them for yourself. You know. And also with here with Rihanna, she is, her message is also here to say, like, sometimes you have to say no. Okay? Even though they want you to say yes, sometimes you gotta say no. No. You can know what Bugs Bunny did? No. Like, you could do that. You could just send them the GIF if you don't want to say it. Like, every time you want to say no, and you just, pull it up. Like, type it. Text it. Something. If it makes you feel like weird, you find some type of way until you're comfortable to be like, no. But at some point in time, you have to say no. 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 At some point in time, it's going to become your favorite word. Like, you want to go? No. You want tomatoes on that? No. I don't know. Just, can I borrow your phone? No. Try, like, with the little things first. Like, not like something like big and like drastic. Let's say like somebody actually take the garbage out or something like that, and it's not your day to take out the garbage. No, it's your day. You take it out. Kind of thing. Put your foot down. Set boundaries. Then we have with Cancer, your feelings, your attitude from the past about your intuition. We had here, like I said, with the water, and you trusting your feelings and your intuition, right, and realizing that it's trying to help guide you and lead you. But like I said, not everyone listen to their intuition. Some people listen to their ego and mistake it with their ego and be like, oh, well, this is what I was led to do, I was called to do, and it's just like, no. Because if that was what you was called to do and led to do, you wouldn't be getting hit with the karma. You know? And yeah, you have to be able to decipher from your intuition and your ego. And the only way to do that is to feel, stable and grounded in yourself, to realize that sometimes you will have to put your pride to the side and realize that you're not always right. You don't know everything. And whatever this obsession is, whatever you're trying to hide and keep under wraps will come to light at some point in time. And when it do, you can't really be mad at, like, when shit hits the fan, you can't really be mad at nobody. And especially if somebody, like once the shit hit the fan, and then somebody will be like, oh, yeah, well, I could have told you that was going to happen. And you're like, well, why didn't you tell me? First of all, think about if that person did tell you. And if they did tell you, what did you do? Did you take that advice? Or did you be like, psh, they don't know what they're talking about, and they told you multiple times and you didn't choose to listen? They told you, you didn't choose to listen. Don't blame that person. You can't, at some point in time, you got to deal with the problem and, accept responsibility in order to understand why it happened, how it happened. You played a role in it. You can't just continue pointing the finger at everybody. Because even if you point the finger, 3 is pointing back at you. You played a role. You played a role. You allowed that person into your life. You allowed this person to do this. With this Mercury being here, you communicated with this person in some way, shape, or form. And about feelings, you probably thought that it was going to lead somewhere or go somewhere. And with this fire here, I just realized all the water goes with what it's supposed to go with, except this. And it's with the air elements. You probably communicate with somebody about your feelings and your emotions, and it could be like a trauma bond. And then like a codependent situation that caused a trauma bond that was built on a codependency that was built on a trauma bond. And it's like once you heal that trauma, you will no longer be codependent onto this person or find this person attractive in any way, shape, or form. And you will realize that this person will probably not only cause you to prolong your healing, they're actually triggering you more in multiple ways than just one. Okay? And within this 6th house, which is Virgo, right? Yeah, Virgo is after Leo. It's serving others, what is good for you, well, what is good for us, your work. And like I said before, with Pluto being in Aquarius, is all about humanitarians, and humanitarians focus on the good of others. You healing yourself helps other people. Why? Because there's less hurt people in the world. There's less broken people in the world. Hurt people, right? Because they don't want to heal. And broken people want to find somebody that's not broken to break them as bad as somebody broke them. For what? So it stops. You realize that some people are just broken. You can't fix them. And it's not your job to fix something that you didn't break, because you're not qualified to do it. It's not your skill, okay? It's just not your skill. If you want it to be, if that's what you want to do, then okay, fine. You can become a therapist, an actual therapist. But you have to realize that not everybody wants to help. Not everybody is going to do and put in the work that they need to do to get the help and that they need. And you can only help those that want to help themselves. Which, funny enough, it's also in the Bible. But if they don't want to do it for themselves, then nothing can get done. It's not your life. You can't live your life for somebody else. You got to live your life for you. Okay, so we have New Moon in Cancer. You and your loved ones are safe. And then we also have you're close to achieving your goals. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have Surrender to the Divine. Okay. Like I said earlier, Cancers is more like focused on like themselves, their home, their family. And if you was worried about like what your family would think or if your family would be okay, it will, right? Especially if you heal and you work on yourself, it helps actually benefit your family. Um, Another thing that I saw, it's a theory that Erica Badu came up with that we have past life here. That you remember things from your past life or like from certain generations, even if it wasn't you, you remember being there because of an ancestor that you probably had, and then you probably thinking that makes no sense, blah 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 blah. But your mitochondria DNA is strictly from your mother, and your mother's mother, and your mother's mother, and your mother's mother. So technically, that's your ancestral DNA in your mitochondria DNA, and it does make sense when you think about it that way. That's being passed down from generation to generation to generation, and it never changes. And men have it, females have it, everybody has it, and yeah, that's how you can have like past life karma and past life situations that you're supposed to learn that needs to be dealt with. Generational curses that need to be broken. It's being passed down in the mitochondria. You could believe it, you don't want to believe it, it doesn't really matter to me. It makes sense once you know about the mitochondrial DNA. So it's like, okay, like, but it, you know. So with this, you and your family, it helps. It works out. Like every family has that black sheep that have to change it up, right? They're not doing anything like illegal or stuff like that. They just going their own route. Whereas, let's say you have like everyone in your family is like doctors or something like that, and then out of nowhere you decided that you're going to be a security guard. I don't know. It's just it's different, you know, and everyone might look at you like you're crazy. Like, no, we are doctors in this family. You're gonna be like, yeah, but you know, let's like sprout it, like go in a different direction, you know, because what if like at one point in time, like we no longer need doctors, right? Now that whole generation of doctors and everything, just what do you got? How are you gonna live? How are you gonna make money, right? Whereas now you have doctors, security guard, nurse, physical therapist. Like it's different things. There's different knowledge being passed around, and you start to realize like even though that you might not think that it makes sense or that it should go together or that it connects, but it somehow does in a way, right? And right, let's say like the person that's a doctor, right? If one of your patients need physical therapy, you're like, oh yeah, let me send you to my second aunt over here that does physical therapy. Then you make that connection, you keep more money inside the family. You see, it works out. Just gotta find a way to spin it. We have determination. This is a yellow card, and the yellow is all about like your solar plexus, to taking actions and doing things that make you happy. like I said before, your North Node is trying to push you to find your purpose and to live in your purpose and to release the things that no longer suit you and work with you and that's just like disturbing your peace. And that's why I was saying like you and your loved ones would be safe, because the more you heal and you better yourself and become the best versions of yourself, you always trying to improve on you, right? And Matthew McConaughey, you know his name, right? He said that he's not competing with anybody else. The only person he's competing with is himself, like 5 years from now, or no, he's trying to be the best versions of himself that he was then like 5 years ago, right? This way, 5 years ago, and that's always gonna be the person that he's trying to be. He's trying to focus on himself and be better than himself. So you can write a timeline of your life or your feelings or your emotions, and that could be your starting line. Like, you're not trying to go back to where you used to be or how you used to be, right? And what popped in my head was Cardi B on Love and Hip Hop. Like, she didn't want to be like before. She like, if you used to be out here popping people in the mouth with no problem, like punching first and asking questions later, all right, at some point in time you can't do that. Okay, you gotta use your words. And you know, some people are just not worth you explaining, especially if they're choosing to not understand you. If they're choosing to misunderstand you and not understand you, then why speak to them? Take back that power. They want you to talk to them. They want to get you like irritated and under your skin in any way, shape, or form. If you're determined to protect yourself and to be the best version of yourself, you're not going to waste your time on people that is seeking to bring you back to a point that you outgrown. You know? And with this, you're close to like accomplishing your goals, you're not going to allow that person to stop that or interfere with that any way, shape, or form. And then we have reflection. Like I said before, you're your biggest component. Not your future self, your past self. Okay? And once you start healing, right? Another thing that I heard is that once you start healing and you feel more comfortable and secure in yourself, and like in touch with like your inner child and stuff like that, you will realize that you're the adult that you would have felt safest with when you was a kid. And that almost made me tear up. And at the bottom of the deck we have sweetness. Not saying that I didn't have like a lot of adults I felt comfortable around when I was a kid, but just like, it really was just my dad. Like, and some church folks, but yeah. But you start to realize that those people that are intimidated by you, or even, because I kept trying to say intimidated, but it's so like it's imitating, you start to realize those people that are intimidating, like copying you and stuff like that. And the reasons why they're copying you is because they see something in you that they don't see in themselves. And rather than learn from you, they're trying to take it from themselves and then be upset that for you it just flawlessly happens, and then for them they have to jump all through these hoops to be somebody that they're not. And it's just like, why wouldn't I, like, of course it would come naturally to me because I'm just being myself, like the kind of thing. Whereas like if you just be yourself, it will come naturally to you too. Like, it's just that kind of thing. And the people that's trying to project their problems onto you and stuff like that, you will like let them go and focus on you and your goals. And if you want to have kids, like being the best version of yourself for your kids, even if they're not here and stuff like that now, like trying to have, not even like trying to have like a relationship they can be proud of, because that's like the least of it. It's like trying to be a parent that your child can be proud of, like that, like they can come to you and talk about like mental health or something like that, where back in the old days you couldn't really do that. And They can talk to you about their feelings and stuff like that, and you take it seriously. You hear them out. You don't just shoot them off or anything like that. And like I said, you heal. You might have to be the one to break generational curses, and it's not easy, okay? Especially if you don't know what it is. But sometimes you might have to. It helps, because if you break it, then your child won't have to break it and go through the same situation that you went through with your parents or stuff like that. Okay. Oh, because it's 2 cards. So we have Phoenix Rising and Sexuality that came out together. Well, technically it came out separate, but yeah. So could be saying like you're starting to feel more comfortable in your own skin, or simply being around yourself with this Phoenix Rising, because the old Phoenix, it's a bird, and the bird dies and then it becomes a phoenix and then it rises from the ashes, right? But it's no longer that old version of itself. Like I said before, you're not going to allow somebody to bring you back to how you used to be, right? With this snake here, you shedding off that old skin. See what I'm talking about with the snakes over here? You see it? Tying it together. But here, it's just like the bottom of the snake, and where here it's the like top. Also, could be your Kundalini rising, and yeah, if it is that, and if it's like forced to activate, it could be like become very sexually. I don't want to say charged, but active out of nowhere, and it could be that. But your sexuality also ties to your discovering your life purpose. Your sexuality also ties to your sacral chakra and how you feel about yourself and how you feel comfortable or connecting with others. And like I said before, if you can't communicate with these people or feel connected with them in any way, shape, or form, then they're not you don't feel grounded there, you don't feel supported there, so why are you there? Where's the point of being there? You just, not to be mean, but it's just taking up space, but like, you're just wasting your time and their time, where you can go find the place where you do belong and people that loves you and support you. Wrong thing, this one. Listening to like what you want to, like what you have to say, your inputs and stuff like that, taking into considerations, and supporting you. Even if they don't get it, they still support you. Because it's not their goals, it's your goals, and your goals don't have to match their goals or anything like that. But you also have to be careful with this Gemini, this Scorpio being here, of those people that only support your dream to benefit them in any way, shape, or form, right? To try to leech off your success. You have to watch out for those people. And could be saying that's why it's also important to learn those lessons, so you can protect yourself from those people and move past that. Because your intuition could be telling you as well, but with this sexuality, if whatever this guilt is, or if you have any guilt towards it, or just simply, like I said over here, the chakras is not, the colors is not lining up right. So something is off either way. Once you start healing or realizing or reflecting, you realize that something is off, is not the way they're supposed to be. And like with the determination, like determined to get to like the best version of yourself or accomplish this goal that you set out to accomplish, you will more and more surrender the problem and get away from it and see why you have to, and understand, right? See why you have to leave certain people to in order to learn certain lessons or to fully understand it, because if you're in it, you're not going to see the full picture because you're a part of the picture. Once you're out of the picture, no longer around the environment, no longer, like, how to say this, if you end the circle, you're just used to what everybody is doing. You become like nose blind to it. You just be like, oh, that's just how they are, right? Even if it's wrong or right, you just be like, oh, that's just how they are. But from an outsider's point of view, once you see it, you be like, yeah, that's fucked up, right? And it's like the more and the further you get away from a certain person or a certain group, the more you understand why you had to get away, and the reason where, like, if you had stayed there, you wouldn't have learned the things that you would have known now, or be exposed to certain opportunities that you are, like, open to or exposed to now. Right, so you have your life purpose involve helping and teaching and healing children. So it could be your own children, children in your future, family, others, like next generational of kids that you have in your family, or just simply like the next generation of kids in like the world, not in your family. Then we have options. Consider the career possibilities that are open to you. And then at the bottom of the deck we have Arthur. You have a book inside you that wishes to be expressed. Make time to write it. I don't know what that book is. You probably do. You probably don't right now, but you have options. And that's cool too. Okay, I have to move these. To the mix veins. Also, with the Sagittarius being here and determination, and then Sagittarius is known to be, it's a set like a centaur, but an archer, right? And you have to make sure that you have to when you do an archery, if you're outside, you have to make sure like you take into like the wind, and stuff like that. Everything is lined up, and you know, before just taking a shot, you just can't just take the shot out of nowhere. Like, you have to make sure everything is like accounted for and in the way that it's supposed to be. It's a lot of work, you know? And sometimes you might miss, sometimes you might get close. But not taking the shot, you're just missing out on the opportunity of knowing if you ever would have, you know, succeeded. It's hurting you more than it hurts anybody else at the end of the day. Then we have the Emperor. I'm gonna go over here. And then we have the Ten of Swords. It's a song on my headphones that you think it's the end, but it's just the beginning. So it's funny because the Ten of Swords is supposed to be like ends, but it's like being betrayed, stabbed in the back, ambushed, and it like, but it's also like overkill and stuff like that. And then we also have the Hermit. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Cups. So like I said earlier with Pisces, Saturn being in Pisces, you have to realize reality from fantasy. And because the Ten of Cups is all about like fantasies and stuff like that. And I need this card. The Ten of Swords is all about... No, the Ten of Cups, like I said, it's all about like fantasies and dreaming and like a wish fulfillment, or emotionally like being like what, like emotionally fulfilled, you and your person. But with the Ten of Swords being here, and that pretty much being like the crossing card for the Ten of Swords is the Ten of Cups, is, like I said before, early, like on this side, the further you get away from certain people or out of this like the group or a certain person, you will realize that the power and the authority that that you pretty much gave them, for one, you start to wake up to that with this Hermit being here, and understand why you have to, like, why you had to leave, and like realizing and honestly being like truthful with yourself, and realize that if you had stayed there, you probably would have continued, like you would have been just like them, or like be the same, like wouldn't have grown or changed over time in no way, shape, or form, or anything like that. Didn't make no improvements on yourself. And that's not a way to live. Like, having self-realization and self like reflection and stuff like that, that's when you realize you're growing, you're improving on yourself. It's you're maturing. When you don't want to continue doing the things that you used to do when you were in middle school, when you was in high school as like an adult. It's like, why are you doing that? Like, oh, when I was 15, I was doing this, and the third. And you're doing it now when you're like in your 40s. Like, it's showing that you're just immature. You haven't grown. You still have that 15-year-old mindset. And or that's the only way you know how to express yourself, like emotionally, or even like with this Gemini being here, like verbally, is like of a 15-year-old person. And it's like I said, it could have been 40, could be 30, could be 20. Either way, it's like, why are you still operating on like a 15-year-old mindset? Like, you have to grow up. And at that time, when you were 15, you're still a child. You still have your parents looking out for you, telling you what to do. And now, as an adult, you are the person looking out for you and telling you what to do. But if you still operate in this 13-year-old or 15-year-old mindset, you will look for somebody else to do that. So your partner, that codependent situation, you will need them as if they're your parent when they're not. And they probably out here looking for a parent too, and it's like, no, y'all, no. No, it won't, it's not gonna work. And it's just not gonna work. But then, because with this Hermit back being turned, and then like the Emperor's kind of sort of looking at this sword and this thinness here, and then even with the Emperor and the Hermit, which circle is this? Hold on, let me see. Right, this circle, the sixth circle, is highlighted for both of them in the Emperor and the Hermit. So like I said before, it could be a trauma bond with this person that is led to codependency at some point in time. But once you heal that trauma, you let go of that trauma, you acknowledge that trauma that you have, you will realize that you don't really have anything in common with this person, and they're slowing down your growth, and you actually finding the person that you're supposed to be with, because it's definitely not that person. And could be a karmic, right? A karmic that you trauma bond with, or you could simply be trauma bond with somebody that just want to trigger you some way, shape, or form. But we have nothing to worry about. You are safe. The situation is under perfect control of divine providence and the universe order. Only infuse loving thoughts and emotions into the situation to ensure that the highest possible outcome flow effortlessly to and through you. And at the bottom of the deck, we have energy work. Your life can be your life can be electric because it is very essence of energy. Your body is a remarkable energy field that will positively respond to loving treatment. Your hands and heart are activated to give healing energy to your loved ones and your clients. Also, thing about energy, it can be created, but it can't be destroyed. It can be transmuted and transformed into something else, but you can't really destroy it. So there's that. Not saying if somebody's like a bad person, they're always gonna be that bad person. They could change if they realize why they're that bad person. But some people have to learn the hard way. Like, you would literally have to leave, and then they want to change, but then it's just like, why does it matter? You didn't care to change when you had me, so that's great. Like, it's nice to know that you changed. It's good to know, but like, you clearly was my lesson. I took the lesson, and now you can go on and be somebody else's blessing. It's great to know that you changed. Now go, find somebody that appreciate and love the changes that you did. Because I'm good. Like, setting those boundaries. Also, with this Pluto being here with Scorpio, and then the Emperor, and then the Sword. The Sword is throwing me. It's especially because his back's turned. They're not facing the same way. Where like here and here, they're looking at each other's eyes. Like I said, even like here, like you might think that you know somebody, but you really don't. Right? Or the way that you thought that you knew them, you don't know them at all. Right? With the Scorpio here and this Pluto, like whatever they're trying to keep under wraps and like keep hidden, they're trying. I won't say like they lying to themselves or trying to like deceive themselves, but they will have no problem pretending to be somebody else to the public, but behind closed doors, they're somebody completely different. And like I said, they don't practice what they preach. And I looked at the horse's eyes. Some people, like horses, are very empathic, and they might be able to pick up on it and realize that, and then be like, all right, something's off with this one. I'm going to go about my business. Now, some people, I used to be like, oh, like, I probably noticed the flag was red, but I wanted to know why the flag was red. At this point in time, all I care about is the flag is red. I don't care how it got red, okay? I don't care. I don't care. The flag is red. That's all it is. Learned my lesson, okay? Just walk away. Just walk away sometimes. Just Just gotta leave it alone. Don't ask no questions. But yeah, but some people lack having empathy or want to be compassionate and understand people. They choose to misunderstand or just be closed off or closed-minded to the situation. And there's nothing you can do about that situation, so why worry about it? It's not your mind being closed off. And they're like, well, they gonna say that wrong information. Okay, that's fine. Will you look like the idiot? No. So just leave it be. Will you be wrong? No. So leave it be. Continue focusing on you. You can't change everybody. You can't heal everybody, especially if those that don't want to heal themselves. Like, everybody want to be in a relationship, but then there's codependent relationships, and that's not healthy. In no way, shape, or form. But not everybody want to hear that. We have vegetarian and vegan. Organic fruits and vegetables give you a boost of high life force energy with evaluate your spiritual frequency. Right, and then we had vegan too. But here it's saying solitude, independence, and peace. So, but then we also have mediumship. But if you have natural abilities to connect to deceased loved ones. But if there's water, you could have like mediumship to connect with them. I don't know. However way you connect with them. It could be through songs, through music, your dreams. Visions. I don't know. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have clear yourself, action angels to release any toxic energy that you may have absorbed. Especially with this Phoenix rising, how you once were, you're no longer that person. It can no longer be that person either way. So if you're trying to go back to how you was before this trauma happens, that person no longer exists. You can't be that person because that person did not know that such traumas as the one that traumatized you were out there. But now you do. You know? So you have to find peace with the fact of not knowing that such things were out there like that, and forgive yourself for those mistakes, and make peace with it, with yourself in some way, shape, or form, and stop seeking validation or support or peace from outside of yourself, because you open yourself to be connecting with people based on like trauma bonds, or allowing karmics to come into your life. And karmics will teach you a lesson, but it's going to break you first. And the difference between a karmic and a twin flame, even though they both triggers you, a twin flame would not trigger like your lifestyle or any way, shape, or form. Like, you will continue growing, but it's not them forcing you to grow and to change or anything like that. You just naturally want to do it, and they naturally want to do it with this determination. You motivate each other, kind of thing. There's not this control thing going on. That's a karmic trauma bond. False flame. And then we have the Knight of Swords with intelligent richness, protection of fertile women, and make children respectful towards their parents. And then we have the Two of Pentacles with fortune and fame and fulfillment any requests. Now the Knight of Swords, and at the bottom of the deck we have the Four of Cups with healing capacity, protection from weapons, safe, and travels. And we have 2 8s here, and that's all about movement. So, like I said before, whatever this change is, or whatever the conflict is, it's helping you to close out something, and so get you to heal so you can find your life purpose, and not only help yourself, but also help you and your family members and the kids that will later come into your family, anyways, shape or form. Like my other example, like if everybody's a doctor and you out of nowhere decide to be like a security guard, right? You like allow that kid realize like, okay, I don't have to be a doctor. If I don't want to be a doctor, I can go be something else. You know, you paved the way that you didn't really want to do or try to do, and be a role model. But I was gonna say with the Knight of Swords, each knight have its own thing that it's supposed to learn or like conquer, or I want to say conquer, deal with, handle, learn. And the Knight of Swords, he has to handle like not being so impulsive. Like you can be courageous and be confident, but you don't have to be impulsive. And then from time to time you will be scared, yeah, but being impulsive, you will just jump into things without thinking, and that can lead you into some dangerous situations, some ambush that you didn't really see coming if you just rush in head first or just swing it, right? And with the two, because with the Two of Pentacles here, it's like you going back and forth. So it could be something that you might want to say no about or no to, right? But what they want you to do or want you to say go against what your body is telling you to say, or what your mind is telling you to say, or what your emotions is telling you to say. And like I said, Venus is all about the planet of self, so it's all about you. It doesn't really matter about anybody else's here. The sexuality, it's how it's like you feeling comfortable with yourself, right? You healing yourself, you focusing on yourself. So it's like, forget what they will want, right? And what, like, if Rihanna had did that, right? Focus on what other people have wanted and not what she wanted it. She would have been continue carrying people on her back to the kingdom and out of the kingdom, right? And her mother-in-law would have continued being in the kingdom, being around her son, being the snake that she was, and no one would have been the wiser. You allowing them to get away with it, right? Whereas she realized that if she doesn't stand up for herself and then look into it, nobody else would. And like I said, the mother would just continue to get away with it. Whereas she looked into it, she believed in herself and was logical about it. She removed her emotions from it and got down to the nitty gritty, looked at the facts, and was able to not only protect her son and her husband from the mother-in-law, she protected the kingdom from the mother-in-law. Because it's like, if she was going to do this to her own son, she don't have no limits, bro. She will do this to anybody. So it's just like, you got to protect yourself, okay? You got to set boundaries and don't allow people to have certain rules, jurisdictions, and stuff like that, or push their beliefs on you, especially if it doesn't go with what you believe or match with what you're going with. Like, um, like if you don't want to be a doctor, you don't have to be a doctor. There's other things you could do. Um, you could be a vet. I mean, that's doctors for animals, but just like you could be a vet, okay? Still a doctor, just different scenario. It's, be a nurse practitioner. You can do a whole bunch of different things. You don't have to be, a certain thing. And then, okay, so we have Thor with actions and Granda with travel. I think I said his name right. Okay, and then pull one more. And then we have Eros with love. But I think Eros is just a different kind of love. But yeah, like I said before, this could just literally be just attraction. And then it led to, like, you have similar situations. You have been hurt before, and or they allowed you to talk and listen to your story and be like, oh yeah, the same thing happened to me, something similar happened to me, and da 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 da. Like, just piggyback off like your hurt and your pain and your trauma, and then you probably felt heard, you probably felt seen, and like connected with this person or bonded with this person, when in all reality you think it's love when it's just like attraction. And like I said before, once you heal that, like, that trauma, or heal whatever that is, you will no longer feel attracted to that person. Alright, we have dedication at the bottom of the deck. So, I'm going to read you their quotes and then we're done. So, Thor's quote said, the time has now passed for waiting and inquiry. Real action is necessary. Trust that you are protected and supported while you move forward. And then Granda says, travel opens your experience and expands the self. Whatever journey you wish to take, you are protected. And the arrow says, step out of chaos and allow love to direct all. A new love liberates your mind, body, and soul. Could be love of self, right? But I said before, with the say no, like, do you love this person more, or do you love yourself more? And I hope you said yourself. Please say yourself. Thank you. So it's just, like I said before, this is the planet of self. You. And not about them. So, yeah, that's it. That, like, self-trust, self-love, and stuff like that. You and your loved ones are safe, right? This person might not be deemed as a loved one anymore, because you were just attracted to them, not actually in love with them. Trauma bonded to them in some way, shape, or form because of something in your past, but not the actual love. So, yeah, it could be like song that just came on was like, if you leave, there will be torment, but if you, like, might start off like that in the beginning, but like over time, you can be like, why was I worried about that person? Why was I thinking about that person? You know? So, it's just like, you have to do what's best for you and your goals. And this person might be the one costing your goals. And because we have that at the bottom with your belief system. Whatever you're believing is costing you a lot. It could be costing you, like, emotional security, feeling stable within inside yourself, costing you goals and your dreams and your aspirations, feeling connected to your intuition and your ancestors, your source, and close you off to opportunities that you probably didn't really know about because you're so like, how to say it's like everything is foggy, right? But you can make certain things out, and you're so used to the fog that you don't realize that there's more things outside of the fogs until you realize that you're in a foggy situation. What was that end? Was that Legend of Korra? Something. It was something. And then they all got like lost at some point in time, and then they had to like snap themselves out of it. It's like that. Or was that Aang? Either way, you know which one. But yeah, that's all I'm seeing for this reading. I hope you find it helpful. Other than that, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.